Hi, everyone. Freddie Gillespie, Chair of the Open Space Preservation Commission. Having a quorum, I'm calling the meeting to order at 2:06 p.m. This is a virtual Zoom meeting. It may be watched or you may participate in the meeting remotely with a meeting link at www.southboroughtown.com remote meetings. So on our agenda after call the meeting to order, our first order of business is to vote a representative for the St. Mark's Street Park Working Group. This is for the new St. Mark's Road relocation. There was a park adjacent to it. They had a committee, a working group set up. The selectmen recently expanded the membership and the charge. They're now, originally they were looking at a memorial to Indigenous people, and now the committee is looking at the overall layout and plans for the park itself. And they added a representative from the Open Space Preservation Commission to sit on it. So we need to choose someone to do that. And I'm willing to do so if you wanted to nominate me, or did someone else want to do that? That would be you, Sarah. Are you interested in that?
I can't really commit to anything this summer.
Okay.
So if
It has to be done by September, and if, I'm sorry, let me see. They need to have a plan done by September, but then they will continue working on it afterwards. That's my understanding from what I heard. So in September, we could go back and revisit. I would start out and then we can.
yeah, I'm very interested, but I have a ton going on starting on Monday and might not even be around much, so.
All right. So if
you can and want to.
Yeah, our main goal has been, there was a pollinator preservation garden as part of that original plan, and we want to ensure, we were never committed to the plan or the layout, but we wanted to ensure that the native plant component of that park be continued no matter what goes in there, as well as some portion of it being a pollinator garden. So that's, I think, the main thing. Of course, any park has a relevance to Open Space Commission being involved because it's an open space issue. So
Freddie, for the purpose of our minutes, because I don't have the draft agenda because of my email issue, what was the name of the committee again, so I can make sure to reflect it in the minutes?
St. Mark's Street Park Working Group.
Great.
Would it help if I sent it to a different email address or anything?
The draft agenda, if you
Yeah.
do want to send it to the email address that I sent you in the text, yeah, that would help. But otherwise I'll try to follow along and take notes without the agenda.
What email address did you send me?
The
Oh.
Karen at mosaicglobalsolutions.com.
Okay, if you wanted, I think it's worthwhile for you to have that. So
Sure.
give me
That's
a minute to let me find that. Meetings. Include. Oh, who am I sending it to? Can you tell me the Karen?
Yeah, you would send it to Karen at the word mosaic, MOSAIC.
Wait a second. I think I have it here.
Okay. It's also in your
Mosaic Global Solutions.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. So I just sent that. See if you get it. We'll just make the rest of the meeting much easier to take that little.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
I just got it. Wonderful.
got it.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So the name of it, you have it now, so you can just type into that.
Yeah.
Okay. So back to the conversation, if you're, does that work for you, Sarah? Sarah is stating interest in the fall, and I'll carry it through then anyhow, okay? I think they're going to have a heavy workload between now and September is the problem. So did somebody want to nominate me?
This is Karen. I can nominate you for as the OSPC representative for the St. Mark's Street Park Working Group.
Thank you. Is there a second? Sarah seconding?
Yes, Sarah, second.
Okay, all in favor? I'll do a roll call. Sarah,
Sarah Rossitano in favor.
Karen,
Karen Svikovich in favor.
Freddie Gillespie in favor. All right, that passes unanimously. The next issue is the library CPC application, pollination preservation garden. When I wrote this, I wasn't sure, but the fall town meeting is in, I believe, October 13th. And we had asked to postpone submission of our CPA article until the fall town meeting. So I want to just be sure we're going to go ahead with that. And what I'll have to do is go in front of the library trustees with the full proposal, which we've discussed. It's just cleaning out the woods and adding plants from Dr. G. Gear's list. Earlier, we'd gone through I believe we had reviewed a CPC paid to hire someone to review the area to give us recommendations about the water levels and what it would cost to clean it out and put the trees in. So I'll build the application on that and then submit it to the trustees. And if they're in agreement, we'll go through to the for the CPC to review for town meeting. Is that agreeable to everyone?
That
Yeah.
sounds great to me. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the process we're going to take on that. The next item is June 25th garden tour. That's this Saturday. The Beals Preserve Garden. We ran into a delayed plant delivery, but we also ran into some poison ivy situation in the garden. We pulled it and it grew back. We pulled it, it grew back. It became an issue where we didn't feel it was safe for people to volunteers to be working in that. So we've delayed planting until we can get more of the poison ivy out. So the garden tour may, at that portion of it, we'll be talking more about how we developed the land. And aside from the poison ivy, the results of putting the cardboard and the wood chips has worked wonderfully. And we've had another couple of volunteer work days. So once we get the rest of the poison ivy out, we'll be ready to plant. And we have this new tool we're doing because there's over 300 plants that need to go in. And I'll let you know when we're going to be actually planting them if you're available to help out. But you have a cordless drill and it's an auger that fits on the tool bit and it just goes and digs a hole.
That's so cool. That's great.
It takes a little bit more than just, but you know, there's control and stuff, but it's faster than digging holes for 300 plants. So we're hoping that's going to work out well. And then the library garden, that's in pretty good shape. We have, are either of you able to come on Saturday? Didn't think you were, but
I am not going to be in Massachusetts on Saturday, sadly, but I look forward to hearing how it goes.
and I'm not sure about Sarah. She just,
I was checking my schedule. There's a strong possibility.
okay. I'm hoping
And-
it will have fun. This isn't the one and only garden tour we're going to have. I always worry that, you know, are we ready? After the summer, we've been doing nonstop different small working groups weeding there. And the young women from the Ames Charter School Climate Change Committee have been helping out. The lawn alternative area needs some more planting to go on, as well as we lost, over the winter, you always lose a few plants and we want to fill in. And I think already I have documented a 400% increase in bee diversity with just 2 plants coming into bloom, 2 species, not plant. There's multiple plants of 2 species, Penstemon hirsutus and then Penstemon digitalis. Now, the goal of this garden is to have something in bloom nonstop. So it starts out and it's like on a rolling basis, keeps going. So we had the first 2 Penstemons come in. They're on their way out. And the prunella has come in. The scarlet bee balm is coming in, and the butterfly bush milkweed is coming in. There's other things starting to bloom. So it's really exciting. It's like every day what's starting, what's happening. But so far we've had bumblebees nonstop since the hirsutus started. So this is a great example. What I was hoping we would do, and once we get a little more settled for this tour, be nice to have something at the library. Can I propose this? A what's in bloom. So we send them what's in bloom this week.
That's
a
a great,
picture of a flower, and you can come and see what it looks like and do that for social media, maybe a flyer at the, maybe there could be a dedicated spot for what's in bloom this week. If you like that idea, I will approach the trustees or Ryan with it. It sounds good.
Yeah,
yeah,
that sounds great. I think that's a great way to publicize it.
Also, I've done a talk for the Rotary Club and someone from, what's that newspaper? It's bad of me not to. Community Advocate. And they're going to do a story about the effort. So one of their editor of the Community Advocate came to the presentation at the St. Mark's that I gave, and she was very enthusiastic about our program. So that's good. So that should be coming out in the next few weeks, I would think. So I think that's it. The garden constantly needs weeding. We need to develop some more volunteers through the library because we can't keep using the same volunteers for 3 different projects over and over again. But that's going to be ongoing. So I think that's it for the garden tour. Do you have any questions or anything?
no,
Sounds good.
Okay. Chestnut Hill Farm Management Plan. Last meeting, we had submitted we had approved the letter. I had written a draft, and now I hear that some of those changes or recommendations were accepted by the Conservation Commission to ask the trustees to address. I'm not sure exactly which ones. So I guess they're reviewing it again this Thursday. So are you running the meeting now, Karen?
No, I don't think
Okay.
so.
Okay.
I'm taking notes though.
Okay. I didn't see.
I can try to run it if need be.
Okay. I just don't see Melissa here anymore.
it says she's the host.
Okay. I don't know where to see that. Anyhow. Conservation Commission has it on their agenda. So I'd like us to.
Actually, she's made me the host, so I am running the meeting, it seems.
Okay. So if we agree, I want to send an email asking that they send us the next draft version so we can review that, if that's all right.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I did, because I'm working with Salt on the Salt portion of the Beals Preserve Pollination Preservation Garden. I've been in communication with Whit Beals, who's interested in seeing our comment letter, and they inform me they've already lost the bobolink population, which was critically important. And there also doesn't seem to be any vegetables growing there. I don't know that that's our concern, but and also that the lights seem to be on every night, all night, which there's nobody there, there's no programming, it doesn't make sense. So the, certainly the bobolinks and the lights being on are concerns of ours, and I'd like to find out if they're going to fix the trail situation or not. That's, we'll ask them for another, to get a review of get a copy of the next plan. The issue is it's a 5-year management plan. It's not based on permitting. And I think the 5 years was over like 5 years ago. That could be wrong, but it's supposed to be updated every 5 years, and it's been quite a while since it was due to be updated. So there's no, I think us asking for another review isn't putting any causing any harm to the process, because
Needs to be done anyway. Yep.
there's not a deadline like normal permitting has. So that was that issue. 325 Turnpike Road. Did anyone else have anything to say about Chestnut Hill Farm?
No, but I've made notes about, especially about the lights and the bobolinks for us to refer back to later.
Okay. 325 Turnpike Road. That's Ken's Foods. So they have a great wildlife, a great wildflower meadow plan to replace the one they're putting the building on top of, and with incentives to I don't know what he just said. There's some plans I was just sent, if I have the ability to review them, but so what happened was there was a 7,000 square foot shrub border added, and another 12,000 square feet, in addition to the 37,000 square feet of wildflower meadow. So let me say that straight. 37 square feet of wildflower meadow. Additionally, there was another 7,000 square feet of shrubs and another 12,000 square feet of shrubs, plus some meadow, a small meadow area. And in the shrub area, we had requested to be plants from Dr. G. Gear's list. And we heard that they had used a lot, but then when we looked at the plan, there wasn't one. So at the last planning board meeting, they agreed to go back and take another look. And I had a meeting with their landscape architect, their wetland scientist, and Melissa Danza, the Conservation Commission agent, to review the plant list and go over Dr. G. Gear's list and make recommendations of what would work. And they said they were coming back with a new list. And I just heard that they had a plan that they're distributing tomorrow. But I just asked him if he could send me the list of plants. So let me tell you what there is. There is pussy willow, male and female, which are both on his list. High bush, blueberry, steeple bush, white meadow sweet. Button bush, swamp rose. As far as I can tell, that's and in that area, that's a significant addition, but it's only a small area of the planting. Sorry, this just came in and I'm looking at it on my phone. If you can wait, I think it's important for us to know what's going on here, because I have to make a recommendation at the planning
Of
board.
course. Yeah. Yeah.
So bear with me. I'm going to go up into my email on my PC and see if I can pull it up from there. This literally came in at 2:02 today. I just saw it. Planting table. It's already said the swamp rose. This is the one I saw before. It's not that. So what it is there's different planting areas. And hold on. I don't know if you've ever seen the size of the plants, but they're kind of large to look at. So there's a total of 60 pussy willows, which is a huge improvement. Bebe's willow and bush honeysuckle. I'm very pleased with this. It's not 100% Dr. G. Gear's list, but they really did a good job on that portion. So it just doesn't seem to be as many shrubs as they had before, but we'll double check later. So I guess there's nothing. It says shrubs, 82% from Dr. G. Gear's plant list. And 40% of the trees are from Dr. G. Gear's plants list. Oh, they added the eastern red bud, which I was hoping that's an upland plant usually. 34 of them. Wow. I guess that's pretty. So I'm reading this for the first time and I'm quite pleased. Okay. I always can be better, but how about this? Better than I expected.
That's wonderful. That's great news.
I think it, and I just saw, I have to say, I just saw another permit recommendation from the Concom on their agenda to some new development for notice of intent near the wetlands. And they sent Dr. G. Gear's plant list for native plants to be used there. So it's catching on at the Concom. It's not just us at the planning board. So I'm like, I feel like saying yippee.
Yeah, it's great news, right? Because it shows that it's like slowly sinking in, right? It's really,
Yeah, I don't know if you also saw, I should send it out. The New York Times did a article on lawn alternatives and the plants they're recommending. Many of them are the same ones we have in our lawn alternative display area at the library. So, you know, I feel it adds credibility to our efforts when the New York Times is posting it. Not that we need that kind of validation, but it doesn't hurt, right? That we would do it with or without the New York Times approval. But, and actually it was, I don't know if you've met him, Dan Jaffe Wilder. He used to be at Garden in the Woods and now he's at Norcross. He's given some talks, but he was one of the Massachusetts entities who was featured in that article. So I think it's all positive news for us. And did you know, I think you saw, I just want to mention at Breakneck Hill where we've been doing so much work, the stewardship committee, which is to be commended. Don Veazey led a butterfly walk for the Massachusetts Butterfly Club.
oh, that's
and
great.
had over, it was either 22 or 27 species of butterflies. And some of them were so numerous you couldn't take a count. There were too many to count. So that is a huge amount of diversity because, you know, butterflies aren't all in flight all at the same time. So for one weekend to have that many on a walk to be documented was more significant than many other places. So
Heidi, who was it that led that walk? If you want me to include that in the minutes, I can.
yeah, Dawn, Vessy.
Uh-huh. The stewardship committee?
No,
Oh.
she led it for the Massachusetts Butterfly Club. She's a past vice president and she currently she leads walks for them sometimes, but she is an avid photographer of the wildlife at Breakneck Hill. She's the one who tells us when, you know, she walks there numerous times a week and sends us pictures. Let me go to the, I think that's it for Ken's. We can say we approve that plan. Unless, well, I should ask. Does anyone object to, what did I say, 80-something% of Dr. Jagir's shrubs? It went from 0 to 80.
That's such a great
I
improvement.
think that was a good meeting last week, huh? So, okay, so the next thing is master plan review.
Yes, so I'm happy to say that we are having our end of the process get together tonight. So we are officially done with the master plan. So that's great. Yeah.
Congratulations and thank you for all your work on that, Karen.
No, absolutely. And it's reflective of all of the really good feedback that you both gave. And I know, Freddie, you put quite a lot of time into the very last review, really going through it in detail. And so I think it's a better plan because of all of that good input.
So what was it, 3-year commitment from you, Karen?
Yeah, it's been 3
You know,
years.
good thing they didn't tell you that when you signed up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it's 3 years, and you know, I like to see it as a living document, even though it will be printed, and even though it was essential for some of the funding and different things we need for the town, but really see it as something that people can use, and you know, and that there's some tangible goals and some clarity around lead people in each of the areas. So I hope that will mean that stuff gets done.
Well, I saw
And-
the planning board is already, either they already have or they discussed they're setting up the implementation committee.
Exactly, yeah. And it is also my hope, because the master plan has through great effort been agreed upon, that this will also reflect in the budgets of the committees that have the primary responsibility for these important things that the town has decided to do, including us. So let's hope there's that as well, the resources that is necessary.
That would be great because, but with funding comes great responsibility. One thing I've learned, and I'm fond to say, it takes a lot of work to spend money.
Mm.
Like you want the money to do the work, but then you have the money, you're committed to doing the work. And so being aware of that issue and making sure we don't overtax an overworked committee, commission in a way that when we're looking at funding, we're looking at who's going to do the work and funding for that to fund somebody to, to help do the work. It was something we used to miss out on. So it would be, we get a project, we do the project, and we'd be in charge of being like the general manager or the general contractor. I don't know what the term is called, but somebody that normal companies hire someone at $200 an hour to do the work. And, we need to put that into our budgeting and not think that we can micromanage every single project, because, and it's just a reminder that we're having oversight to make sure they get done, but it doesn't mean we have to do it all, because some of those projects are critically important for the town to do, but one small commission can't do it. So, but it's exciting. It's exciting that all these important things are on a list and are going to be followed up on.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so anything else on the master plan? I hope you have a lot of fun at your party tonight.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope so too. Okay. We're all bringing something, and we're meeting at the clubhouse at Judas Condo Association. So yeah, I think it should be a nice time to just get together and sort of, feel good about what's been accomplished. So that's good.
Yeah. So the next item, I need to go back up to the library.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, not to the library, to the St. Mark Street Park Working Group.
Yes.
As part of that, there's been a lot of, I've attended a couple of the meetings of the working group, even, and I've also followed some social media or heard comments of pushback against the Open Space Preservation Commission's native plant initiative and having native plants on that park. And it's you know, I guess the point is it's discouraging. It's, you know, it's short-sighted. It's, some of the comments have been basically ignorant and show a lack of, you know, where we have to do more education,
Mhm.
because people, many people still look at plants as a, you know, dressing up the yard or the landscape, at how we look at them, and not looking at them as part of the ecological backdrop of keeping our not just our planet, but, you know, our local ecosystem running, which is critically important. You know, it's not just the butterfly and the bees, it goes all the way up the food web, and we're at the top. And there are numerous studies that showcase that if we fail at the lower levels, we fail as a human race. And, you know, not all these reports of the massive extinction happening right now. It's not this made up, like, you know, you know, it's not like the meteorites hitting and the dinosaurs disappearing, right? It's being caused by our own human actions, and we can try to reverse it. There was a new report that came out saying that the loss of biodiversity is as critical and more important than climate change. And that this isn't one fanatic, you know, that's the term that's been used about the Native Plant Initiative, fanatics. This is serious, scientifically backed reality, but the general public isn't that aware of it. So as part of the street working group, I think the whole committee needs to be educated on why, you know, we're not just saying natives because natives. And what I just said now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it wouldn't convince you, right? So like having a PowerPoint presentation for, you know, explaining what's so important about protecting biodiversity, and how, you know, the birds are disappearing, and the birds are disappearing because we don't have native plants that feed the caterpillars. And so I'd like to propose that I put a presentation together, a PowerPoint based on all the information we've talked about and the research we've done, that I can provide to that committee. I don't think I'll be doing it at the committee, so it might be do a PowerPoint presentation on a Zoom, record it, and then, you know, pass it around that way. Does that make sense?
Mm.
So, you know, Doug Tallamy's work, a lot of it's Doug Tallamy's work, but, you know, and then bringing in some of our success with Dr. G. Gear's plants, and already the success at the library in what, one short month. It hasn't even been a year since we put that garden in, and 400% increase in what, you know, bumblebee biodiversity is pretty significant. So I'd like to do that. I'd also like to follow up. We had discussed it before about having a workshop on trees. Remember with the emerald ash borer, I had reached out to a tree expert at the state, and also now to tie into that, but also to tie into the street trees. People don't understand. If were either of you at town meeting when the town bylaw came up, a new tree bylaw?
I read about it afterwards, yes.
So people don't understand what a street tree is, and it's like in their yard, and they think it's their property, but it's not. It belongs to the public. It's actually a lot of the right of way in people's front yards. It's not even their own property. You know, people just think it is because they treat it like it is. And I think having some education on that would be helpful if we can get, you know, the people from, I think it's DCR, the tree experts, to come out and talk about the emerald ash borer, and the somebody to talk about what is a public shade tree before the fall town meeting. Are you amenable to me reaching out on that and trying to set it up?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Sarah, you're nodding your head, but can you say yes? Thumbs up?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so back to the agenda. I just didn't want to, I wanted
I
to
made a
add-
note about that, Freddie. I think it's a great idea to really, and if you had a recorded Zoom presentation, you could use it not only for education of that committee, but for other purposes as well.
Right, I'm hoping, we're trying to start using our webpage more effectively. We never used it before. And now we're putting on, like, the link to the garden tours up there. And the link to all our winter sew programs are up there. And we have to work on cleaning it up a bit. I don't know how to manage it so we don't lose old documents, because it was great for me to find that we did a Reduce Your Lawn workshop in 2017, before any of these people were talking about it, long before the New York Times came out with it. And, that's something that's good to remember, and it can be lost in old minutes, but when you come across a notice in the website, like that we had those workshops, it's not like we just started doing this yesterday. We're not, we've been serious for a long, long time. And even before we did that, I think that's when we first named it the Native Pollinator, Native Plant Initiative. Remember? I don't know if this was before you got on, Sarah, but we were going to call it the Small Lawns Native Plant, Native Pollinator Initiative. And we decided to take small lawns out because we thought it was a little too controversial and would turn some people off. But I mean, that's going back to, it must have been 2017 at least, which is a good 5 years ago, anyhow. And we were working on pollinators well before that. 2015 is when Dr. G. Gear first came to Southborough at the invitation of the Southborough Open Space Preservation Commission. And we had to have been interested in pollinators well before that. We already had the pollinator gardens going. So, yay us. Trying to get back to the agenda, sorry. Here's the picture. So we finished the master plan. That was a little
So we have
tangent,
a
sorry.
partner with the scholarship committee review.
Yeah, so at the Southborough Open Land Foundation's annual meeting, Joe Hubley was in attendance and members of the scholarship committee came in. The Southborough Open Land Foundation had issued, they were donating $1,000 as a match. And they got well over $1,000. I'm sorry, I don't recall how much it was, but it was a, significant contribution. And I like to think we played a role in that, advertising the, dedicating the Planet Palooza in Linda's memory, and mentioning there was a scholarship in her memory that would fund students going to environmental studies. And I think that scholarship will continue on, so it's something we can continue. We have to find out, we can't actually ask for money as a town committee, I guess, but there's nothing to say we can't dedicate a ongoing, like next year if we do another Earth Day thing, and Linda's, trying to bring attention to that scholarship fund again. But I think that was a huge success. We really should find out how much they brought in overall, but I think that was a worthwhile effort on our part. And I'm pleased because Linda certainly deserves the recognition, but I'm pleased that her work lives on by kids getting funding to help go to school too.
She contributed so much. I'm really glad that we could remember her with that.
Yeah, and I'm very happy that the scholarship committee chose to do that. And particularly I worked with Isabel Murphy, who was on the scholarship committee, to help further that effort. So the next issue is chair report. I don't have anything beyond what we've already discussed. And we can deal with this later, but we are looking for new members, and we're doing, I think after the native plant tour, we'll be doing a concerted effort to campaign to get new members, doing some sort of outreach program, which we haven't really done. There are 2 people who are interested in joining. So I'm going to keep working on that. And if you know anyone's, you know, certainly talk to whoever, anyone is always able to send in a volunteer form, but as we know, we need to do a little bit more footwork for that, okay? Alrighty, and then the next thing is the minutes.
Yes. So I sent it out prior. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at it. I can share my screen and
Can you, I did read it prior, but why don't you share your screen?
yeah, sure. Okay, let's see. Let's get rid of that. Somehow I managed to shut it. Let me just open it again. So it was the minutes from 5/18/22. And here they come.
I'd also like to see about getting, while you're waiting for those to come up, because they're not up yet. Sarah may not know this. Karen had sent in minutes, but they hadn't gotten posted. And our webpage, as I'm talking about being more proactive, if we send people there, what they're seeing is a lot of scolding, send in your minutes. We haven't received your minutes. And I want to see if after we send them in, if that can be taken down. I don't see why we have to have a black mark on our name.
Yeah,
especially
we've been pretty on top of the minutes. So yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, so I'm going to see if we can do something about getting it, once they're sent in, do the notices have to stay up? I don't think they stay up on everyone's web page, so I'm going to check that. It could just be
Yeah,
too busy to get to it, or it could be something we need to see if we can change a policy.
sure.
So can you make a change, Chestnut Hill Farm Management Plan? Karen made a motion to approve the letter. I think better than accept.
Approve the letter. Okay.
Stonebrook Village
Yeah.
was to add, to accept the adjustment plan and let to, what do? We notified the applicant and the planning board that we say notified.
I'm sorry, what line are you on? Lee?
After Sarah seconded, all in favor,
Yeah.
just say we agreed to notify the planning board and Capital Group that we were, not we would, we, that we, what's the word for, we're okay with?
That we approved of their adjustments.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
You know, it's tricky because we don't really have approval, you know, but whatever.
Right. But
Pollination preservation, right. Instead of donation of a water cube, could you write a water cube was donated to our efforts? Just maybe even say Gary Phillips, his name. Say volunteer Gary Phillips. Thank you. That sounds, I don't know if people know, have you seen the water cube? It really, he actually attached something so that you can hook a hose up to it. So I hooked a splitter up to it so you can get fast water. There's no real water pressure. It's by gravity. So, but you can still turn the hose on and, you get a little more than a trickle. So I'm very pleased with it and very thankful. I believe, I'm fine with all of this. I don't have, but I'll let you know at the planning board that got taken out, the 90% success rate. I mean, the planning board thought it was a little bit off too, so, okay. So our garden, this here, I'm just looking at the minutes and telling you, so that's another thing. We're having this garden tour now that replaces that, but we didn't have the concert now, so maybe in the fall we could have it. We could have another garden tour, right?
Mm-hmm.
No reason not to have them all the time, but what else?
Any other changes?
I'm reading it. Nope. I'm okay. Sarah, are you okay with the minutes?
Yep.
Is there a
Super.
motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the
518.
May
Huh?
18th. May
The ma-
18th, 2022 minutes. Is that your motion, Sarah?
Yeah.
You're breaking up a little.
Yep. I made a motion to accept the May 18th, 2022 amended minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, all in favor, Karen,
Karen Svikovich is in favor.
Sarah,
Sarah Rossitano in favor.
Freddie Gillespie in favor. That passes unanimously. And the next thing on our agenda is a motion to adjourn. Did anyone want to make that? It is 2:54, 52, 2:52. Okay. At 2:52. Sarah's
I'll
making a motion.
Adjourn the meeting at 2:53 p.m.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
All right, all in favor?
Karen Svikovich in favor.
Sarah Rossitano in favor.
Freddie Gillespie in favor. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming. We've done great work. Thank you very much, Karen, for your wonderful work on the master plan. The meeting's
Oh,
over,
you're
but I
very
just want to say
welcome.
that again. All right, so can you stop recording the meeting? But don't shut it off yet.
I think so. Let's see.
Or do we just leave if you can't stop recording?
I think it just, oh, here we go. Stop recording. Yep, I just stopped.
Stop recording.
And I'm going to stop the sharing. Yeah. Okay. So we
Okay.
can all see each other.
Hi, so
It still says recording up on the,
it says live YouTube.
yeah.